rationing. And the Screen magazine, in its second issue, tried to explain the reason. And he wanted to know that what he could do if they would in world greater cities become a monument to the courage and faith of the unstarted Americans. Buffalo Hunter, who with his great show made the old West. On these crooked streets,
Well, my name is Dean Contover, and this is the History Show. What we do in this show is we interview veterans from all wars, and we get their experience. And what we do is we take these DVDs or videos and send them down to the Library of Congress, where they're archived. And we hope to have the state archive the records in the near future. Presently, I have a Vietnam veteran. His name is Richard Gauthier. I don't know if you want me to use your nickname, or if you don't mind me calling. If you don't mind me calling you Richard or Gouch, I mean that's your prerogative. But I'll call him Richard. Richard was in the Air Force in Vietnam. We're going to talk about where he grew up. He grew up in Lowell, and his experiences in Vietnam. He was a dog handler. He was a canine handler. I don't know how many dogs you went through in your lifetime as a dog handler, but we will discuss that. Richard, you grew up in Lowell? Went to Lowell High School?
I grew up in the Churchill Street Housing Project.
Oh, that's, yeah. And you went to Lowell High School, right?
Yes, I did. Class of 67.
Class of 67. You were a wrestler, and you were a football player on the Lowell High School team. One of the better Lowell High School teams that they ever had?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you were...
Ray Riddick.
And you were also All-American wrestler, if I
High school
recall.
All-American wrestler, yes.
Okay. And you got a scholarship to go to college in Arizona, or to wrestle in Arizona?
Yes, I
if I
did.
remember correctly. I happen to know Richard prior to him going to Vietnam. It was a long time ago, but we won't go into that history. What we're talking about is Vietnam. So you got drafted, or how did you get into the Air Force?
Well, I got into the military services through the court system. The judges in Lowell saw fit to clean the streets up by taking us guys who came before the judges periodically for mostly street fighting and brawling and that kind of stuff. They take us out in the back room, and back there there'd be a military representative, and they have you sign the paper under the conditions that you join the military, you won't go to the House of Correction in Bereka. That's how they got us. That's how they cleaned the streets of Lowell.
Was it a good experience, or was it a bad experience for you going into the military?
Well, it's probably real good, because I learned the basic humanitarian discipline that I probably never had growing up in the streets of Lowell.
Right. Okay. Good.
And I was a street person.
Okay. So let's. What happened? You went to court. You were a kid that. How old were you at the time?
20.
You were 20 years old. So you were a little older than most people. Usually they went in at 18. So you went in at 18. You didn't know what you were getting into. Why the Air Force? Why?
Well, they wanted you gone for 4 years.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, and the only options were the Navy or the Air Force, and I didn't want to be out on the water.
Right.
I like my feet on the ground.
See the world through a porthole, as they say.
Yes, and I knew somebody who was down here, and they were in the Canine Corps. It was a kid from Lowell, Machado. He was a sergeant in the Canine, and he arranged for me to go through basic and right into Canine after my training.
All right, let's talk about basic. You get out. What happened? You took a train to the wherever basic was. Where was
basic was down in San Antonio, Texas. You flew out of Logan Airport.
Okay, you flew out of Logan Airport. You flew to what? Houston.
San Antonio.
San Antonio, right into San Antonio.
Yep.
They picked you up on a bus.
Yep.
I presume a whole group of you guys. Gave you barracks, gave you uniform, cut your hair, and you were saying, this never happened in the neighborhood.
Yeah, discipline wasn't a common thing in my life.
Right. Okay. So
I was wild and young.
Okay, that's a lot of people were that way. So you went in the Air Force. You had basic training. First day of basic training. What was that like? I mean,
I wasn't used to people yelling and shouting at me and stuff. I actually had gotten it took me a while to get through basic. Usually takes 8 weeks. Took me 12 because the second day there I beat the shit out of my sergeant because he put my hands on me and I didn't like that. I still had that street mentality.
Right.
So they put me in the break for 15 days to straighten my ass out.
Okay. That's kind of time that doesn't count.
Time that doesn't count.
Right.
So after that,
explain to
15
the-
days, I had to start from day one again.
Right.
So this time I
So
kept
in
my
other
mouth
words-
shut and went through.
So so you learned something. Good. That's good. So you're talking about 4 years plus 15 days that you had to do in the military.
Well, that was going to happen.
Right.
But because I sustained injuries in Vietnam, I got out on a medical discharge in 3 years.
Okay. We'll talk about that. So you're in basic training. Tell me about Air Force basic training. I mean, from what you know from Marine basic training, or
Well, they all go through basically the same thing: the crawling in the dirt, the mud, weapons training.
all right, stop there. Weapons training. What did you learn to fire in regards to weapons training? Was it a pistol or was it a rifle?
No, it was the old M1. You had to fire it first. Then you went to the M16, and because I was going into K9, we had to learn how to fire the A15, which is the snub-nosed version of the M16.
Okay. So that's what you were going to carry.
And that's what I was
as a
going to
kid,
carry. You learn how to throw hand grenades.
All right. I mean, tell me the nomenclature of the, what'd you say, the AR-15?
The AR-15.
Okay, what's the nomenclature? Light, 7 pounds, 8 pounds? Plastic stock?
It was the exact same thing as an M16, but it had the back of it,
Fold?
it closed up.
Okay, folding.
Because
type.
with a dog, you got to hold the dog with one hand and you got to hold the weapon with your other hand. So it has to be small so you can control it with one hand.
See. Okay. So did you went on the ranges and you fired?
Oh, yes.
These weapons? Do they have like marksman, sharpshooter?
Oh, yeah,
weapons?
absolutely.
And what did you shoot?
I was a marksman. I did a lot of practice shooting over the Lowell dump with my personal weapon that I have in Lowell.
Okay, but a rifle you never fired.
No.
Okay,
No.
so you were a marksman with a rifle.
Yes.
Okay, when you were K9, did you carry a pistol too?
Yes, we did.
Okay, what was the pistol?
It was just a 38.
38.
Yeah.
Okay, snub nose 38. Is
Yeah.
that what it is? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you went through basic training. How long? You said what? 12 weeks for you. 8
Yeah, about
weeks for
12
you.
weeks,
So
yeah.
Running.
Oh, a lot of running. But I was on the track team in Lowell High School and ran away from the cops a lot in Lowell, so
Yeah.
I was used to running.
All right. So you have to make me laugh. After this jogging or whatever they do in the military, right? How is the food there? That's what I always ask a veteran when I interview them.
Shitty.
All right. All right.
Worst food I've ever had in my life.
All right. The worst food you ate in your life. Did you express your point of view like you usually do?
Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of that,
Oh, okay.
telling the truth.
Okay. So give me a day of basic training. Your third week in, something like that. Did you learn marching?
Yeah, that's when at the beginning, first they did the physical training where you ran, you did your crawling, your jumping jacks and all that stuff.
Right.
And then you started the marching with the weapons and stuff. But that stuff was so easy. The hardest part was the little meticulous shit like cleaning a toothpaste thing and the stuff they drive you crazy with in the barracks.
In other words, not having white on your toothbrush.
Yeah,
that type.
stuff
Okay,
like that.
I got it. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
you
So-
never did understand the reasoning behind all that.
Well.
Discipline, I understand.
Okay.
I know.
What about?
But then you went into the K9 after the basic training. That's when it started to get good.
Civil. The food was better.
Well, I always had a German Shepherd, and that's why I loved the dog training.
Okay. Let's get into that. After basic training.
28 weeks of dog training.
All right. Hold on, just a minute. Basic training. Any parades afterwards? Or
No.
anything marching
No.
at the end where?
No, there was a war going on. They wanted to get us through the end. No,
Okay. Okay. So when you got orders, your orders were what? To go where?
To Lackland Air, the same base.
Same base. You were at Lackland Air Force
Yes,
Base in
that's where they
Texas.
train the
Okay.
K-9s for all services.
Okay. Oh, all services.
Yes.
So you mean the Navy, the
Yes,
Army,
we had a lot of the
Marines?
different branches there training with us with
All right.
K-9 dogs.
So you guys were mixed in together, or were you
No,
separated?
we were separated by
by
services.
barracks. Oh, is that right? They didn't intermingle you. Okay.
No.
All right. So you got out of basic training as an E1,
Yes,
where airman. What do they call that?
Airman first class.
Airman first class. All right. You got out of the E1. Okay. Now you got the orders for basic training, right? 28 weeks. Okay.
Dog training.
Of dog training.
Yes,
Now, did they assign a new dog to you
Yes.
specifically?
yes.
Name of the dog. You remember it?
Do I remember my dog's name?
Yeah.
Was Mickey.
Mickey. Okay. And so, tell me what the training is. 28
These are
weeks
dogs,
of training.
well, what you do is, first you got to get into the cage.
Oh, let me ask you a question before.
These dogs have been through training with other people,
Okay.
so they're already trained.
Right.
You have to sit outside their cage and talk to them, read them books, just so they understand that you're not hostile, that you're friendly.
Reading books.
Oh, you read anything you do just to get their attention, just so they can hear your voice, calm them down. You know, when you first get there, they wanna bite you,
Right.
and then you got to learn to get the leash on them. At first, you gotta really choke them up a little bit, show them who's boss, and then after
Well,
a
you
while,
being a wrestler, I mean, you were well.
yeah, well,
conditioned.
these dogs are pretty tough
Yeah.
too.
Right.
They remind me of kids in the streets. I mean.
All right.
And then you learn. Then before you go overseas, you even sleep in the kennel with the dog. You'll spend.
Oh, is that
yeah,
right?
You'll spend a whole week, 15 days with them, and stuff. Because this is your best friend now.
You eat and sleep with Mickey.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Right.
Now, what were the animals fed? I mean, what were
Well, they were. I imagine like all on a horse meat. You know, it's.
So,
they're pretty good fed though.
oh, they're well
Yeah,
fed.
well,
I mean,
they're pretty good.
Okay.
These are training, and then you went over to Okinawa.
All right,
from there.
let's keep on the training. Hold on, let's not jump here.
Right.
All right. So basically, what happened is, you went to training. I mean, just tell me the people you talked to.
You learn how to track the dog. You learn how to go through the jungle looking for people, their scent. You learn how to read the dog. The dog doesn't read you. You have to read the dog.
Okay.
The dog does all the work. You just do what he tells you, where he takes you, where he directs you. These dogs are amazing.
So you had to take them out into the bush
Yes.
down in Texas.
Yeah, they hide things. They hide people and stuff.
Now, you know, I see they give a dog a scent of a shirt or something like that, right? And the dog sniffs the shirt.
Well, it's if you're looking for a particular person.
Does that work? I mean, is that
Yeah,
true?
absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
These dogs, they just amaze you. I think the stats is they can hear 60 times better than us and smell 30 times better than us and see incredible amount better than us.
So, I mean, they would stand to your right hand on your right hand side.
No.
No? Your left
On my
hand side?
left-hand side.
Always
my
on
weapon's
your
on
left.
my right.
Okay, got it. Yeah, all right. What happens if somebody's left-handed, weapon-wise?
There are no left-handed weapon carriers.
Okay. No, I just...
The old weapons came out. The ejection was on the right side.
Right,
The other
that's
than left,
true.
you could hear but the shells coming out.
Well, I used to shoot on the left side because my eyes used to line up better on my left. So when I fired, I always fired on my left side, and it would hit my helmet.
If you're walking with a 110-pound dog in your left hand.
Yeah. All right. So 28 weeks is a long time. I mean, you know, did anybody not pass the course?
Oh, lots of people don't pass. Lots of dogs don't pass. You know, they just get sent back into the regular part of.
Well, how would the dog feel? I mean, tell me. I mean,
Some dogs are like gun shy.
okay. Oh, you would fire guns
Oh,
in front
absolutely.
of them?
Well, you know, remember they got to be.
Pistols, yeah.
They're going to be in
Yeah.
a combat zone,
Yeah. Okay.
so they have to be gun shy. They can't be explosion shy. Some dogs just don't smell as good as they're like people.
Yeah. Right.
Some don't hear as good as others. Some don't smell as good as others. And
So basically, you're doing the cream of
it's
the crop.
only like 2 or 3%.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's a low percent.
Wow. So that's even today. I mean,
Most dogs can be weeded back into civilization, but some can't.
I see. Wow. So they're 2 or 3%.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
What
low.
about the dog handlers? How can you flunk out of a dog handling school?
Oh, well, some people aren't made to be able to hold a 110-pound dog. Some people can't give commands. Some people can't shoot good with one. There's a lot of reasons. They get sent other jobs.
What was the percentage of dropouts?
I really don't know.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
don't
pay
know.
much attention to that. I just know that all the time you turn around, somebody was gone.
Oh, no kidding. Well, how big was your class when you started?
When you started, it was probably about 120. When we finished, there's probably about 30 or 40 of us that
Wow.
went on to the next stage of dog handling.
Why, is there 2 stages of dog handling?
Yes.
What's the second
Well,
stage?
those dogs stay there. They become trained. They're training things
Right.
for the next one. Now you go overseas, and now you're going to meet the dog that you're going to walk in the jungle with, and you have to go through basically the same thing as getting him to know you, taking him out for walks, and you got to put muzzles on them at first because they'll try to bite you too. They don't know who the hell you are yet, and then you develop a friendship, a relationship with your dog, and then you get assigned to a base, and you and your dog, you're a team.
What were you told in dog training school what you were going to be used for? What kind of, out in the field or defensive?
Defending
perimeter?
Air Force bases and planes.
And planes, that's it.
Yes.
So the Army and Marines will probably use their dogs out in the field.
Yes, they have different kind of dogs. They have trail dogs, we used to call them. They're more friendly. They're the kind of dogs like a police dog,
Right.
where they can whistle and call them back.
Right.
With our dogs were strictly kill dogs. You cannot, come on, come back. That don't work. You have to go physically get them, take them off the person. And
So when you were training, there was things where the guy used to be dressed up
dressed up
and
with the full suit, like you see the police on TV.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
and he bites
You
your
always
arm
have
and
that.
so forth like that. You want him aggressive.
Oh, extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
He's your best friend you have out there in the woods. He's gonna save your life more times than any other human would.
So when you're on, let's perimeter, because basically that's what you're being trained for, perimeter guard, and you're by yourself basically.
Basically,
Yeah.
you got about a quarter mile to a half a mile radius that you cover, you and your dog.
And you're out there by yourself.
Yeah, you're protecting the Air Force jets, fighters, and spy
So
planes.
we're talking about millions of dollars of equipment that this dog is protecting.
Yeah,
So
right
that's
around the
why.
whole circle is all kill dogs.
So in other words, basically, whoever comes through the wire, the barbed wire, will be attacked.
Oh,
If you,
absolutely.
once you let him go.
The dog will make what we call a hit. They don't bark. They don't make noises. They just growl. They get hyper and they start dragging you towards where they think somebody is coming.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
You would never hear it as a human.
Yeah.
See it because it's we only worked in hours of darkness.
Right.
The dog.
In Vietnam, and I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I don't want to jump over there yet, but because I have it in my mind, what they would do to go through the wire, they would put dog feces on the.
They would, yes, because the theory was that dogs would turn their nose if they smell human feces or dog feces or whatever, any kind. They would. That's what they reportedly did.
But did it work or?
Well, once in a while, one would get through and blow up a piece of a plane. You remember, these little guys carry these depth charges, and it take them 8-9 hours to crawl through a barbed wire to get by dogs. Just to run into a plane, it would probably blow up a wheel or a wing. It would damage it maybe for a week or so, that's all. But, they believe that they're going, like today's war. Buddha would take care of Allah. There was Buddha would take care of him. Today it's Allah would take care of you.
Right, all right. So basically, what happened is you went to 28 weeks of training. Did you get promoted after that? Did you get the E2 or anything?
Yeah, I was a two-striper when at that time I got to Vietnam.
Okay, good.
In Vietnam, I was a three-striper before I left.
Okay, what's that? M in third class or first
Sergeant.
class?
Basic
Okay,
sergeant.
basic sergeant.
Yeah, I
All
was
right.
there 3 times. I was a sergeant.
Okay, well we'll get to that. All right. So after 28 weeks, Did you go home on leave or anything like that? Did they let you go home? And what happens after 28 days? Do you leave your dog or you take it home with you?
No, your dog. We don't. Once you're heading out that way, you keep going. You don't come home again until R&R in Vietnam.
Oh, so
I was going home from
so
home
you had
about a
no
year and a half.
you had no leave at all after basic training or after your K-9 school.
Yes, right after the first K-9, we got a week before we went overseas to where we met our dogs we were going to have.
Okay. Mickey didn't go with you?
No.
No. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So let me just get it. You get out of Lackland. Did they give you a degree or a diploma or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we got one of those.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That you finished K-9 school.
K-9
yeah.
school.
Okay.
And all that stuff.
So you guys go to Okinawa.
Yes.
Oh, the whole group of you.
Yes.
All right. All Air Force guys.
Yes.
The Marines went
I
their
don't
way
know
and
where they
whatever.
go after that.
All right.
We never
So you
seen
got
them again.
orders for Okinawa. Nice place.
It's a little flat island, nothing there.
How long?
Base.
How long were you there in
Just
Okinawa?
about 15, 20 days.
Okay.
So you got acquainted with your dog, and then you both of you flew over to Vietnam.
Now, what was the name of that dog?
That was Lucky.
Oh, so you're here, so it worked. Lucky did work. So Lucky was flown from the States to Okinawa.
I don't know how they get there.
Okay, well that's my presumption.
imagine.
Yeah.
Either that or they breed them there.
Yeah. So okay, that's my presumption. So what happened was you got to Okinawa. Good food.
Hey,
Army base, Air Force base,
military food.
Air Force base.
Air Force Base.
Okay. What was the name of the Air Force base? You remember?
No.
Okay. All right. You're there 15 days. You're 15 days. What happens? You get your orders to Vietnam?
Well, the next thing you know, you're all loading up on what were those C-130s? And
Yeah.
you and your dog, and you went to Ton Sanut Air Force Base.
Okay. Everybody knows
Everybody.
one of the busiest Air Force bases in the world at that
Yes.
time. All right. So it's right
And then
outside.
From there, when you got out, you would get assigned to where you were
Okay.
going. Some guys went in trucks and went up north. And
Okay. So
I stayed there.
Tan Son Nhut was the busiest
Unbelievable.
busiest Air Force base or busiest airport in the world at that time.
At that time, I would
I think it
imagine
was-
it'd be the busiest in the world because of the jets and planes and stuff were taking off.
Right. Okay.
24 hours a
Yeah,
day.
I was at Tan Son Nhut, and that's where I went into the in country at Tan Son Nhut. So you got to Tan Son Nhut Air Force Base. What did you think when you got off the plane?
This place is hot as hell. When you get out there, that air hits you.
Yeah.
It's
Was there
it's
was
100
there,
degrees every
was
day.
there was there a certain smell that you smelled or anything like that?
Yeah, it didn't smell too good.
All right.
You knew you were in trouble when you get off that plane. When you're getting off the plane, other people are being loaded on the plane in bags and stuff. You know it wasn't going to be pretty.
Did you meet any combat veterans going out of country, leaving the?
No, but I knew some that were there already.
Okay.
You know, and that's how I got hitched up with Ton Sanut. And then I wound up downtown for a little while, guarding the embassy with my killed dog.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
So you were basically when you said embassy, was this after TET or before TET?
10 to 72?
No,
I
TET
was there.
60.
I was there 71 and
68.
2.
Oh, okay, all right. So that was later on. Okay, that was after.
That was the
All
little
right,
one.
Okay, so you get to Tan Son Nhut, and what happens? Now, how many guys are you with there? Remember, 15,
Yeah,
20?
there was about 30 of us on the shift.
No, I'm just saying the guys from Okinawa who came to Tan Son Nhut with you. How many? 15?
15, 20,
Okay.
yeah.
And you were the only one assigned to Tan Son Nhut?
No, there was a couple others.
Okay, there was a couple
We
others.
were just, it's like everything else. Other guys were rotating, and we were rotating and taking their place.
Okay, so there were 30 guys in your what do they call it, a squadron or whatever they call it, a wing or whatever. There were 30 guys.
30
right?
of us.
Okay, so what did they tell you when you got there? What's your assignment? Tell me what they
Well, our
said.
assignment was to guard the perimeter of the Air Force Base, all night long, making sure that nobody snuck in and tried to sabotage what you call terrorists now. They were saboteurs in our day.
Sappers.
Saboteurs. Yeah. And that basically was our job, to prevent them from doing that at any cost.
So you said all night. I mean, so would you have
I only worked
what's
at
a
night.
shift? What's the shift? Where was the shift?
Probably from like 8 at night till 5 in the morning.
No breaks or anything like that?
No.
No switching of guard duty or something so you can eat or anything like that?
No.
No?
No, once in a while they bring, well, you had your K rations.
So did you have a fixed location, or were you walking perimeter?
No, everybody gets assigned when you go out to the barrier, out in the post where the dogs are kept. And, you look at the board and you're assigned, station 10, station 12, different part of the base.
Okay.
They rotated it around so nobody could get familiar or whatever.
Did you have a clearance?
Yes, I had a secret clearance because every once in a while I had to guard a U-2 spy plane.
Tell me about a U-2. What did the U-2 do? Because the audience, some may
Well,
not know.
they're very secretive. They don't want you anywhere near the thing. Those long, sleek wings, and I did go inside once, and inside it's like a small room with computers, wall-to-wall computers all around it, and that's basically it. You never knew when they came, and they always left in the night and always came back in the night, so nobody could see them coming and going. Very secretive.
Yeah. Gary Powers in the U-2, remember when he was shot down over Russia?
Russia.
Yeah. So those were the U-2s. The U-2 means utility 2. So just let the audience know.
It's a computer spy plane.
Yeah, and it had cameras, I mean, on the sides of it and everything that,
And of course, in those days, it was great big computers, like we got today.
Yeah, but why Tonsanuk? I mean, weren't they vulnerable to mortar attack or something like that?
Well, we were
I don't.
in Tonsanuk. We were pretty well protected on the outside. Army and Marines always going out in trails, and Pats going out from the base. Charlie, the Viet Cong, would like to lob mortars and rockets, but they had no idea where they were going. It was like they put them up on makeshift things, dropped a couple, and ran to another position.
Catch as a catch can. Is that,
yeah, wherever it hit, they didn't know, we didn't know. So, it's very rarely did it hit anything.
Did you have Vietnamese on your base, nationals?
Yes, we did have Vietnamese on the base. Right. They were more problem than the Viet Cong sometimes. Let me tell you one story.
I want to hear all the stories.
I was guarding an Army depot. It was a recovered weapons depot.
We're outside of Tonsanuk.
Inside the base. And it was fenced in, about 3 or 4 different chain link fence, because it was all weapons, captured weapons. And the South Vietnamese Army would come with trucks, and they'd unload their weapons that they captured and stuff, and I would guard it with my kill dog. And because it was all fenced in and stuff, you were able to let your dog roam around and not be on the leash. Well, one day, one of these South Vietnamese soldiers decided he was going to stay there, put up a hammock, and sleep in a very restricted area.
Listen, we've got to continue this.
Well, just 2 minutes.
Well, hold on. We don't have 2 minutes because we're going to end the show. So the people have to watch it next week and watch your show and listen to your story, because you're going to have to tell it again, because basically it's
a funny story. But
no, I mean,
it wasn't too funny for him.
In the next show, we could start off with that, and we could do that. Is that all right?
That's fine.
Because I know it can get prolonged, knowing you, that you can prolong something, and that I have to end it right now.
It was almost over.
All right, so basically. Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's better. It's better to keep people hanging, and so for the next show, okay?
Thank you.
Good to see you.